One way to think about the Paris Climate Agreement is as a statement of mutual responsibility. Countries that are party to the international treaty forged in 2015 all agreed to make plans to limit greenhouse gas emissions and shift towards low-carbon economies. But not every country in the world can put those plans into action, and that's where climate finance comes in. As part of the Paris Climate Agreement, lower-income and higher-income countries essentially struck a bargain. Lower-income countries agreed to find development pathways that could be consistent with global goals of limiting warming to 1.5 or 2 degrees Celsius, and higher-income countries agreed to provide the financial and technical support that could make those plans feasible. The big number that everyone talks about is $100 billion. In 2009, higher-income countries agreed to provide $100 billion per year by 2020 to lower-income countries to help them do things that would reduce greenhouse gas emissions, like investing in renewable energy or stopping deforestation. Multilateral development banks have committed to shouldering a big share of the responsibility, but it will also depend on commitments from bilateral donors, foundations, private sector partners, and institutions like the Green Climate Fund, meant to be one of the key climate finance institutions, which secured a $9.7 billion replenishment in October last year. The money is also supposed to support investments in adaptation, since the climate is already changing in ways that threaten vulnerable communities. That might include investments in things like climate-smart agriculture or resilience to disasters caused by climate change. This might all seem like a fairly straightforward arrangement, but anyone familiar with the worlds of development finance or international climate negotiations will understand that the reality of climate finance is a lot more complex. As one climate finance expert told Devex, the data that exists on climate finance is messy and difficult to understand, but the data we have, which is not perfect, already shows that the donor community is not doing enough. Questions about what should and should not count towards the $100 billion, whether that should all be in the form of grants, or if it can include loans, insurance, or other types of innovative finance, make this a very tricky web to untangle. When negotiators meet every year at the international UN COP conferences, climate finance is almost always one of the thorniest issues they confront. And on top of all of that, every country in the world is now faced with another urgent and resource-intensive crisis, the global COVID-19 pandemic. The same institutions that are being asked to step up with climate finance are now being called on to put forward billions of dollars in COVID response and recovery. The big question is, what form will that recovery take? Climate advocates remain hopeful that with unprecedented amounts of public finance now flowing towards the COVID-19 recovery, those same funds can be channeled into priorities that support countries' climate change goals as well. It is a moment of both major risk and potential opportunity to rethink what a sustainable economy and society looks like and how to finance it. Download our exclusive Devex Pro Climate Finance Challenge report, where we look at the real story behind the numbers and uncover what financing is needed to meet the global climate goals. If you're not a Devex Pro member yet, you can sign up now for a 15-day free trial with an annual membership. In addition to this report, you'll gain full access to our ongoing data-driven analysis, live events with key development leaders, and opportunities to connect directly with our newsroom.